Alright, so in this video we're just going to kind of finish things up. I like using ebony, but you want to use ebony at the very end, and you just want to use a teeny tiny bit of it. So if this is what your gradient looks like, that's okay. You can add just a tiny bit of ebony just to push your contrast a little bit more. So the first thing that you need to remember is to be careful with your ebony pencil. You don't want it to fall and break. And we're going to start on this darkest side here and use a piece of computer paper so you don't smudge your work. Make sure it's nice and sharp. And I'm just going to take my ebony and just do a teeny tiny bit. You don't want to go past the point where you said ebony, because then it's going to be a little too dark. I'm just using light pressure. I'm building it up, I'm blending it out. I'm just using a teeny tiny bit just to push that contrast a little bit. When you are not seeing a whole lot of difference, you can add just a little bit more on the very end. You're not outlining things, you're just adding a little more pressure. If you're scared to use the ebony, that's okay. You don't have to use it. Ebony is very delicate. It can smudge really easily and it can go dark super quickly. So if you just want to use your HB and go a harder paper, you can. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see your ebony pencil push down really hard. I know if you did that, if it looks shiny. So if it's looking super shiny and flat, I know that you went a little too hard. So this is pretty much done. Because this is a tutorial, I'm gonna kind of leave it as is. If I were turning this in as a student, I would squint my eyes and look at the areas that need blended in and need cleaned up. Before you turn in your final copy, and again, this is just notes, you do want to clean up your edges so they're nice and crisp. And the way to do that is I would just take a piece of paper and line it up with the edge of your shape, and you can see all the places that you might have gone out of line, and just take an eraser and really erase those edges. And I hold down my paper as I do this, and I swipe away from my work as I do this so it doesn't smudge. I'll lift it up. That's a nice clean edge. Now I'm going to do this one here. Do the same thing. Now if you accidentally went over the line super dark, of course that's going to be a little bit harder to erase. If you accidentally, oops, I smudged mine, so let's try that again. That's why I like using this paper. Ebony smudges a lot. So I'm just going to erase, brush it away while my paper is on there, lift it up, nice and clean edge. I'm going to do all four sides, and it's okay if your notes where you write begin 4H, HB, and ebony, if that goes away, that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and line my piece of paper up, and you can use any kind of computer paper, and make sure you're accurate. You don't want to accidentally erase too much. Hold down your paper as you're erasing. Brush the debris away as you're erasing. So brush that away and then lift it up. This is looking pretty good. If for some reason you erase too much, you can go back in there and add just a little bit more. If you see areas that still need to blend, be blended, make sure you blend them before you turn your final copy in. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a gradual change from light to dark. No like abrupt changes. Everything's blended very nicely and smoothly. Your darks, you can use just HB if you want to, but I'm looking for a nice, smooth, gradual change. So this is something that you have to practice to get good at and to get better at. If you don't for your notes, I guarantee you your final copy should be better if you take the time and attention. So, with any grade in this class, if you don't get a perfect grade, you can fix it, redo it for a better grade. And if you have any questions about this activity, feel free to email me.